Welcome to this episode of Fourth and Vibes. Today we are going over the game last night, which was the Packers versus the Commanders. Go Pack Go. They look like the Super Bowl contender. They look unbelievable on defense. Their offense, I was incredibly impressed with Matt LaFleur and kind of how he handled everything. It's just pretty wild how one player can. It's not one player, obviously. Van Ness is playing well. Wyatt's playing well. The backers, Edgerrin Cooper and Trey Walker. Not Trey Walker. Quay Walker. I'm thinking of Trey Amos on the other side, who did, outside of a couple of rookie growing pains, did look pretty legit. Yeah, it was just, I don't want to say an ass beating because the Commanders kind of came back and made the game close, but at the end of the day, it really was the Packers controlled the entire game, kind of flexed their muscle on both offense and defense, I should say. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about the Packers. I really liked. The first 15 LaFleur had was a masterpiece, to be quite honest. There was motion, utilizing the motion to then put the defense in bad predicaments. It's LaFleur's, I don't know, I don't want to say this game is one of his best classes on how to run an offense, but it was honestly pretty impressive. And I know it's just week 2. Defenses are going to catch up. We're going to have a lot more tape moving forward, but so far so good on the Packers front. The Commanders just kind of never really, they did get going. Obviously they scored 20 something points, or 20 points, I should say. Give me 2 seconds. Commanders, Packers. They almost scored 20 points at 18, and I know a lot of those were field goals, but I don't know, man. They just kind of seemed out of sorts. And obviously that was one part Packers defense because Jayden Daniels didn't really have much time, not to mention the running game never really got going outside of Bill. And unfortunately, Eckler went down for an Achilles, it seems. I don't know if that's confirmed yet, but that's kind of what it looked like when you have a non-contact injury and immediately grab your ankle. Prayers up for him. It's really sad to see that. Deatrich Wise, another guy who went down. Everyone was really kind of shooken up, and I don't want to say that was a dichotomy of the Commanders, but I don't know. They just didn't seem like this was their best game. And obviously from last week, they look great, but this week, clearly a much better team than the Giants. I just wasn't super impressed with kind of how the Commanders played. Obviously, towards the end there, Jayden kind of figured it out and settled in a little bit as much as he could have, but it really was just the Micah Parsons show, the Packers defense show, and then a masterclass on LaFleur. The only thing that could have made this performance better was if Love hit the deep shots there was several deep shots that I don't know if it was a miscommunication between him and his receiver, or I don't know what happened, if he just overthrew him, if it was directly on Love's fault. But at the end of the day, it's very difficult to tell kind of where he needed to be on the route or whatnot. But a lot of Packers got behind the defense, and Love uncorked the Hail Mary, so to speak. Not really a Hail Mary. That's a bad thing to say, but yeah, it other than a couple miscues on some deep shots, Packers were rolling. The offensive line didn't skip a beat without their left tackle and I think left guard Morgan, and I forget who else filled in for the boys. And man, the way the run game looks, it's going to keep defenses honest. And then you have those deep shots, especially once they get a little more chemistry with some of the guys that they have there, like they're all young. I know we say this every year about the Packers, but they have a bunch of young pass catchers. And once they all kind of get going, utilized in their same ways, because I feel like it's always Watson's in, oh no, now he's out. He was their deep shot. It looked like they used Dontavian Wicks for a couple deep shots. Romeo Doubs was cooking people. He's starting to look a lot like they've been saying in camp and all that type of stuff. It seems like he's going to become not the guy because it's a bunch of number 2s. We'll see if he becomes the number 1, but I was really impressed with his play on a Commander's side. Amos looked good outside of a couple just rookie mistakes. I know he got picked on a little bit, and I don't know, he has incredible makeup speed. It was pretty insane on that one touchdown he saved. He was definitely cooked and immediately got right back to where Golden was. Wagner, still Wagner, but obviously he slowed down quite a bit. I really liked what they were doing with Micah. They kind of bounced him. They're continuing to bounce him around all over the line. He rushed quite a bit from the interior, from what I saw, especially in the beginning of the game. And I think that's just to be able to keep Gary and Van Ness and all the other pass rushers that they have. And Agbury, they have a pretty good platoon, and they're all pretty young, but Micah Parsons is kind of the straw that stirs the drink there. Man, I know he has a back and all that type of stuff, but he's walking people back. He's getting he's getting the Aaron Donald treatment, 3 chips, two offensive linemen and a skill position, whether it was a running back or, I mean, I guess a tight end's not necessarily a skill position, but you know what I mean. I digress. Yeah, I mean, if the defense can just kind of sit back, play zone, and have eyes on Jaden, I don't want to say I don't think he's that effective or as effective, but he really got out of sorts. And it seemed like Kingsbury was kind of, I don't know, it just seemed like Kingsbury was kind of not calling his best game, or maybe what he was calling just wasn't as effective because you have one of the fastest defenses in the NFL, not to mention the addition of Micah Parsons, and then also just, Jaden Daniels is lightning quick, but that's all fine and dandy until you have Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper roam in the middle, and then you have guys like Evan Williams and McKinney, and I mean, the Packers defense, outside of their corners, I know they're a little young. Nixon's a dog. He made a bunch of really good plays, but outside of their corners who are a little young, I think Micah Parsons might have been right when he said, what did he say earlier in the offseason? He said, I don't think I've ever not had a Pro Bowl corner, so y'all are about to learn the names of my guys. And he's not wrong. They've looked pretty solid. I know Packers fans were a little scared, especially with having Bo Melton take reps at corner, receiver for them. I mean, I can't say enough about this team, man. I don't want to crown them week 2 because last week through 4 weeks, the Saints looked like a Super Bowl contender, and then we all know what happened with them. But I mean, as long as Love's back there, their offensive line stays relatively healthy. What is their defensive coordinator's name? The guy from Boston College, Jeff Hafley. As long as Jeff Hafley's calling plays and LaFleur's calling plays, I think the Packers are going to be in it for the long haul for the season, and it might be Packers in the Super Bowl out of the NFC because the Eagles look like they've taken a little bit of a step back. Not much. Sorry, Eagles fans. But yeah, just really impressed. And honestly, whoever their pass game coordinator is, that guy needs a raise. Let me shout him out. Pass game coordinator for the Packers. Jason Vrabel. I wonder if that's offensive. No, it's a different way. Jason Vrabel. Sorry, forgive me, Jason, if I'm mispronouncing your name, but you need a raise, buddy. You had that Commanders secondary, and quite frankly, last week, the Lions secondary, looking like they didn't know what the hell they were doing, just because of the way you were stressing the defenses of clearing zones, but then attacking the zone that you just cleared. I think that's I don't know what I'm trying to say. I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm not that guy. I'm not how do you say it? I'm not a coach in the NFL, but from what I see, you got receivers leaving zones, you got receivers coming to zones, and it seems like Love always knows where to go with the ball. So Jason Vrabel or Vrabel or however the hell you say your name, you need a raise, buddy, because what you had those boys doing from a receiving perspective was very, very, very impressive. So hats off to you. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Bill Kwasky-Merritt, I think is his name, the Commanders back that got a lot of fanfare. He looks explosive. He looks really good. Again, like I said, unfortunately for Eckler, he went down, so they're down to just Bill. And I'm assuming I don't want to say regret the Brian Robinson trade because you can never, who knows, with injuries and stuff like that, especially non-contact like Eckler. But they're going to need another running back, and I don't really know who's. Actually, you know what? Let's see who's available. Free agent still available. Zach Moss, Gus Edwards. Zach Moss could be pretty solid. Ryan, if he's still there. Chris Evans, another guy. It's quarterback free agents. Patterson, you can kick the tires on him. Myles Gaskin, he's solid. Dante Foreman, Royce Freeman, Jamal Williams, Cam Akers. There's some names out there that I'm sure the Commanders will be kicking around, but man, I just feel for a guy like Eckler because he's getting up there in age, and that might be curtains for his career, unfortunately, because as we've seen with Rodgers, it might take a couple years to get back, and I think Eckler's on the other end of 30, and he's not looking like Derrick Henry. It's a bummer, but it's football, man. It is what it is. It's an unfortunate part of the game. But yeah, on the Commanders side, their defense didn't look awful, but the Packers were just overmatching, and I mean schematically it seemed like they had the perfect game, and then offensively I don't think I've seen Jaden Daniels out of sorts like that. I don't know if he'll probably be using that VR headset with this Packers game for the rest of his career, because it's tough when any quarterback looks bad with pressure in his face, but it just seemed like he didn't have the answers. The answers weren't easy. They weren't there. They weren't available. So we'll see how they bounce back. Let's see who they have next week. And then the Packers, Commanders, week 3 game. Get the Raiders. So I don't want to say get right game because the Raiders look much improved, but we'll definitely see. They'll be doing probably a lot better, to be quite honest, because the Raiders do not have Micah Parsons on their side, though they do have Max Crosby, but the rest of their defense isn't nearly as talented as the Packers. So, yeah, that concludes this episode of Fourth and Vibes. I hope you enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. I will be releasing the rest of the preview for week 2 here shortly. I've got to go record it now, but yeah, it's been really fun. Hope you guys enjoy.